Today on our pod, we have a very special guest, our good friend, Steven Cooper. How are we doing today, Steve?
I'm awesome, man. I'm going to give you the canned response, and I'm grateful and honored to be here.
We're going to edit that out. That's bullshit.
No, don't edit that, man, because everyone who ever gets invited, man, it's an honor. So I
Definitely. Yeah, me and Steven have been talking now for, I guess, a couple months. Bought a couple deals, did a couple deals together. So thanks for coming out, man.
Dude, thanks you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice to finally connect for sure. So let's hop right into the meat and potatoes. Tell us about your business and what you do.
So I run what used to be Skyrim Investments. Basically, what it is now, first choice home buyers. So you want to sell me your house, or when you want to sell me your house, that's who you're going to sell it to.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them I keep, some of them I sell, some of them I give out to other investors who need some properties. You'll find those on NJ Deal Source. So I primarily, like, I don't know if we want to say the wholesale term, but I primarily wholesale most of my properties.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing this worked for other people. Like, I started in 2016. Been doing it on my own since 2018. Sort of circumstantial, which I can get into. I don't know if you have other, I don't want to jump ahead of your questions.
No, you're good.
No, go.
Keep flowing. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. No, dude, I've been doing this. I kind of love it, man. You kind of fall for it a little bit, just the whole real estate side of things.
It's addicting. I can't lie.
It is. It's like, well, honestly, man, you grow up and if you even, like, I don't watch TV much anymore, but you see like how like abundant the people seem on TV. Like, it's not as easy as you think. It's definitely not. But
no.
I think that's sort of what like entices you to be like, let me try real estate. But it's not easy like to get into. I wouldn't say that. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but
no, definitely not.
Yeah, I got into this like. So I worked for Power Home Remodeling Group for years. Awesome company. Learned like probably more from them than anyone in my life. As far as like sales, how to run a business and things like that. And I was like one of their top salesmen, top 3 out of like 700 people.
Wow.
And
they're nationwide, right?
Yeah, they are now. They were like just when I started there, it was just out of like Chester, PA. I mean, in the slums, and but they were just like massive. Nobody ever hear, like, most people who are hearing this probably don't even know they exist. And they're the largest home remodeler in the country.
Wow.
It's like the way they market. They don't do TV. They don't do radio. Like, you're not going to hear about them. But some dude's going to knock on your door one day and ask you if you want an estimate, and that's probably them.
Yeah.
But I worked for them for so many years. Like, love the people I worked with, but I hated what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like, if you ever had a job that you hate but you made good money, you might have stayed there too long. Mm-hmm. That's sort of my story.
A lot of us.
Yeah. I know. Like, it's always the question. Like, it's one of the questions really is like, how do you get out of those like corporate jobs? For me, it wasn't through courage. Like, I wish I could tell you like, I jumped ship and it was like I'm gonna go full bore on this. It's not what happened. For me, it was like I self-destructed. I was miserable. So I was making like $250 a year, right? And most people think like money makes you happy. Miserable.
Yeah.
Close, I mean?
Similar situation.
And that's almost the 1%.
Yeah.
That amount of money is almost the 1%, and you're still depressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, dude, whenever like young people say stuff to me, they always make this money. I'm like, nah, it's not about that. I got a good mentor of mine who talks about it, like on our mastermind, and he's like, don't you ever say money to me? Like, it's you have the wrong mindset. And it's the truth, because like the first time you make $100,000 a year, you're like, oh, I made 100. Then you make 200, it feels no different. You make 300, it feels no different. 400, 500, you make a lot. I'm assuming more than me, but it doesn't feel much different. Like, it's not the money side, So the whole point is like after a little while, being miserable, having kids, not having life, like you're just out working like 60, 70 hours a week.
Yeah, that job's a grind. We know a few people that came from that industry. Yeah. You're locked in at all times.
Yeah. And if you have those guys, you're lucky, man. They're good employees. Like I can probably vouch for that ahead of time. So like long story short is I kind of self-destructed and lost my position at company and just was like, I'm done with this. I remember like going home and crying about it.
Wow.
Like literally like how old was I? I was like 38 years old. Went home and cried. My wife's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I just quit my job." I was like choking on snot bubbles, kind of shit.
Yeah.
And
that kind of money is a comfortable living, so it's a big
scary
switch. Yeah, like that's a nice living you're having there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you don't like you think you're sort of like a slave to the money you're making, but it's like it's probably the best blessing in the world. Like when that happens. And I have a super supportive wife. She came over and she was like, "You're gonna be fine. Like I trust you. You know what I mean? We're gonna be fine." And I was like, and it literally just stopped in my tracks. I'm like, holy shit, somebody actually believes in me. And so like it got me into like what would I want to do? Like, and I always thought about I was actually in real estate in 2006. I got in as like a realtor. And
great time to get in.
Yeah, no offense to any realtors out there, but that sucks. Like I did not. Well, when you get started, don't get me wrong. When you get started, it's like you're a buyer's agent, you're just running around, driving people around, showing house, and it's like I hated it. But so I got out of that company, and you know, it's funny because I had like didn't have the best relationship with my father, and we started talking again, and he was retiring, and I just kind of was like, here's the opportunity. Let me go into business with my dad. So we started a business. Went to one of the seminars, you know, the free seminars.
Yeah.
Spent a shitload of money on, you know, the next level.
Yeah.
The next level, and then the next, and then we're in Vegas, like, oh my God, we're gonna be millionaires.
They know how to get you, yeah.
Yeah, they taught me a way to wholesale that I still to date have never done.
Nice.
Because it's just like, you know, look, it's funny because I look back now, I'm like, why the fuck would you do something like that?
Yeah.
Right.
Why would you do it that way? And it was like, you know, you can do twice the work and make like $1,000 on a deal. That's like the way they taught you. And I think we spent like 30 grand on this course.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's only 30 deals even now. It's not a lot.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, because I've learned this as I'm older. Like, you know, I'm saying that in a cynical way, but like I did learn a lot from it.
Yeah.
You know, was it 30 grand worth? You know, we'll see. But that got me into like buying my first flip. And I did it with my dad. And while I was doing that, I connected with a guy that used to work at Power, George Beatty. George is a huge investor. I don't know how many offices he has now. I know he just bought a new office in like Fishtown, I think.
Oh.
He's got like hundreds of employees now. And I just connected with him. It was when he was just getting started. He was probably doing his thing for like a year and a half, and I called him, we connected. And after maybe like 6 months like of flipping a house, and I was like working a part-time job, I was like, George, can I come work for you? And he was like, oh man, thanks. I thought you'd never ask. So I went with him and Dan Breslin from Diamond Equity Investments.
Okay.
Another like large.
Yeah, they're monsters.
Yeah, they're huge, yeah.
Yeah, and just like awesome individuals, you know. It's funny, I got Dan's postcard. His like, he doesn't just send a postcard, dude. It's like 5 different forms of mail that come in like a package for you.
Really?
Yeah, I mean that thing's gotta cost like $5 per piece of mail.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah, and so got in with him, and you know, he taught me how to wholesale, how to invest, and just got me started.
So you and Beatty worked for Dan?
Yeah, we worked for Dan for, I want to say like 8 to 10 months, and then George, I didn't really know at the time.
Was it Diamond at that time?
Yeah, it was Diamond at the time.
Yeah.
And George, I didn't really understand at the time. Just one day, George was like, "Hey, I'm doing this on my own. You know, you're with me," and we're like, "Okay." You know, I always felt like I was with you anyway. Dan was in Chicago. Like we talked to him every once in a while. We'd have a mastermind once a week, but so we went off with George, and that was when he started like taking off. And so I was with him, I want to say like a year and a half. And this was sort of got me into working on my own. My son, in 2018, February, he was diagnosed with a tumor. He had cancer. And so it was like really hard to like go to work and like run leads when you're, you know, going to the hospital, getting chemo, and coming home, he's got a fever, and you're right back to the hospital. Like, you know, how do you do that? How do you go run a lead and be there? So,
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, and it was, it's honestly like, it sounds weird. It was probably one of the biggest blessings in our lives to go through that, but also kind of the worst thing that could ever happen to you as a father.
I couldn't imagine.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, it's you look back now, and you look back now and you're like, man, I learned so much through there, because you just don't realize what you're capable of.
How old was he when this all happened?
6.
That's way too young,
6.
yeah.
Dude, it's if you don't believe in miracles, like my son, we went to a family dinner. We came home, my kids were just playing on the couch, and we caught it early enough. My youngest just kind of like nicked him in the kidney, and it popped and caused him to pee blood. Only reason we found it. And then people there were like, you know, that.
Thank God that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like he hit him at the exact perfect spot that you could ever hit somebody to like let us know it was there, and we caught it early enough. And so he went through that, and like, dude, you go through those things that like makes you strong. Made him strong.
Yeah.
He's a tough kid.
Oh,
pain in my ass.
Nothing will ever be worse than that in his life, probably, than that.
Nah, dude. It's fine. I coach baseball, and I was talking to my kids. He's like, "Oh, to get a needle." I'm like, dude, this guy's got like 40 needles to the heart.
Yeah.
Like, stop bitching at me.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to hear it.
How's your son doing today?
He's awesome, dude. He's you would never
Fully
know.
recovered, everything?
Yeah.
Good.
You would never know. Kid went through all that stuff. Other than like if he takes a ground ball off the chin, he just kind of like wipes it and looks at me and then moves on. Like he doesn't cry about stuff much. But dude, like, you know, at that point, like George let me go.
Yeah.
And it was like a really tough thing to at first, that day he let me go. I was like, how the hell is he going to do this to me? And then I realized, like, this guy's running a business and he's doing what's right for him, and he has to. And I've always respected the guy for making that. That would be like one of the hardest decisions you'd make. We're friends. We talked every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the guy. I respect the hell out of him. But that's what caused me to do this on my own, honestly. Like, I wish I had a fairy tale story, or like told you guys, like, I've always dreamed of doing this. Like, I've always always wanted to be in real estate, always loved it, but
I never thought I'd be in real estate until I started working here, so shit just finds you sometimes.
Dude, the most successful entrepreneurs or people usually are tested. Like, your stories are incredible. Like, I could see why you are as successful as you are because of the trials and tribulations you've been through. So
Well, dude, you probably know more people than me that are like that, and it's like, it's like, I don't know. Now when I hear someone tell me their story, like, I'm empathetic towards it. I am.
Sure.
Like, I don't want anyone to suffer, but at the same time, the response is always like, just wait to see what happens later on.
All right, so Steve, today, talk to me about the last, 3 years, like where you're at in your business. Yeah, it's been 3 years now since 2018. You've been.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, how many deals did you do when you first started? 2018, 19, 20, 21.
Before we get there, you said you were working with someone else.
Yeah.
What got you to the point of doing it on your own?
Well, my son, like, when he had cancer, then George let me go. It was like, he let me go. I had like 35 grand in my name. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was always terrible with money. Like, making all that money with power for 9 years, and I would just buy shit. I was young. I just.
It's hard not to. Yeah.
Is that a commission only job, power?
Commission only. Yeah. But like, you made money. I spent a lot though. I mean, you were like driving 60,000 miles a year. Mm-hmm. Like, we would all of us would buy like an expensive car, just be driving a lot.
What was the pay structure you had working for Diamond?
They actually paid us, because I was really working under George. He paid us like 25% of every deal, but I was acquisition and disposition and doing the title. At first, I was like doing title, and it was like as he built his business and implemented, someone to answer more inbound calls and to set appointments.
Obviously went down a little bit.
Yeah, it was like it kept dropping 5%. So I think when I left there, it was like maybe 15%. But he always set up like bonus structures where, like if you closed X amount of deals, you get an extra 2%. If you did X amount of volume, you got another, it was sort of like an incentive based platform, which was nice because, dude, I think about that in my business. Like, there's days you just feel lazy. It's like the push that you need to get to the next level. And it's what we learned from Power. Like, Power is nuts, man. They would like, hey, if you sell 100,000 this month, I'll give you a Breitling watch. Like, I didn't give a shit about watches, but I'll take the 10 G's.
You can go sell it
all day long. Yeah. I was had like
for money. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was like, just give me the gift card, man. I don't, because I'm not like, I like cars, but I don't give a shit about watches. I don't give a shit. Like, I'll wear a golf shirt every day. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. You can rent me a nice car too. I'll do that. But that's like what got me on my own was just that. Like, he had to let me go. Again, I was like crying to my wife. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? My kid's going through cancer. Like, like what the hell's gonna happen? She's like, dude, you're a smart guy. Like, you're gonna be fine.
You're making $250K. Like, there's skills you have can be applied anywhere.
Yeah.
Today.
The funny thing, because it's like, I think we started saying it before this, is like, you just like things lead you to where you should be, I guess.
Yeah.
But you also like find people or whatever it may be in your life that kind of leads you to like being prepared for the next stage. So like, I actually had a Tony Robbins coach for like 6 months when my son found we had cancer, and like all those tools and all those things I learned from them. I'm like a huge Tony Robbins fan. And he's like fantastic, but like I wasn't raised with people that believed the things they believed. Like, it wasn't my programming from the back. Yeah, most people I think weren't. It's kind of like what propels you. You start to see a new way of thinking and living, and you just sort of run with it if you're lucky enough. But that's kind of what happened. Like that was like, what do you do in these moments? Like, do it on your own. So that was actually like, I know like one of the questions is always, what's the best and worst deal? It's funny, the first deal I did, like I had 35 grand in my name, didn't know what I was doing. I think I spent a month like figuring out what the coolest LLC was. You know what I mean? Typical shit. Yeah. It's so
what
important.
was it?
Yeah.
What'd you name it?
Skyward Investments, man.
Oh, here we go.
Best. I know. I saw you got all warm and fuzzy when I said. See, I did. That was what I thought would happen.
Is it Skyrim? You said
Skyward.
Skyward. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I love that. That's the thing. Every time I say that, like, Sky what?
I thought you said Skyrim, like the video game. I was like, no. Skyward. What does that mean? Is there a meaning behind that or something?
No, it was just sitting in Starbucks pretending that I was working. Yeah. Trying to figure out what to do in business, and
Skyward just came to you.
After a week, I was like, yeah, this sounds good. I asked my wife. She was like, yeah, sure. You know, so
Yeah.
it was
That
like,
makes you happy.
I mean, listen, man, I felt, you know, looking back now, like you see people like ask you, like you get new guys ask you like, oh, what do you think of this LLC? I just don't even answer them anymore. I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Honestly, I work from
No.
this shit. Like I got all the software, the Podio, I got all the follow up stuff and all that, but like I still I'm a big believer of keeping it simple. Keep a notepad with you. Like
Yes, baby. Keep it
yeah,
simple,
man.
stupid. Yeah.
Like you just overthink shit and I don't know, it's just not worth it. We don't need it all. It helps if you can really like, you know, utilize the tools properly, but
Still comes down to performance at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Can you do it or can you not?
this shit's been around for centuries.
Yeah.
So
Reason why it works.
yeah. So
So yeah, talk about where you're at now.
well, you know, when I was there, well, I'll tell you the story. Like the first deal I had, like I had like 35 grand in my name. I did the LLC, did all that, started building Podio. I'm like, fuck man, I gotta do deals. This is stupid. Like I'm not
Blow money with nothing coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, like I finally woke up, you know what I mean? I was like, I gotta do deals. I'm procrastinating. And so I put some mail out. It was funny. This is like the kiss of death. So I tell people this. So the first marketing campaign, I didn't know how to pull a list. I didn't know how to do anything. I was just like, you know, YouTube University, I'll figure it out. And so I pulled a list of like 2,228 names. And I mailed a yellow postcard to 2,228. I got 24 phone calls from it. I set 17 appointments. I put 11 of them under contract.
That's a great.
That's a hell of a first start. Yeah.
Yeah. I closed on 7 of them. I mean, I didn't close all of them. Some of them couldn't be closed.
That's a good rate though.
Yeah, you're still decent. And I think 7 of them I made like 78,000. The funny was like I came down to the day my first settlement. I had this guy in Pemberton, I think. I had 3 properties under contract, and one of them he asked me if he could have back. He was like my like dying brother wants it. I'm like, all right, you know, you can have that one back. And so I had 2 of them. I was due to settle on them, and at like 11 o'clock at night, the day before settlement, I'm only making like 10 grand on it. I had like $60 in my bank account. Like I had nothing.
Yeah.
Two kids, like $60 in my bank account, and I get this phone call from California, and he's like, "Yeah, this is you know, so and so's daughter-in-law. We're canceling the deal." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's not all there." And I was like, "The hell he's not." I've sat and had dinner with them. Like, you know, I always sat in the house. Like I was a guy that would sit in the house for 3-4 hours because I just connect with people.
Yeah.
And I talked to them until like 2:30 in the morning and saved the deal. Actually, it was a 20 grand deal, and I ended up like giving them one back, dropping the price on one, and just keeping it because you know, after 2 hours of trying to keep the deal, I stuck with it. That was the most stressful deal I ever had.
Wow.
Like hands down. And then from there, just, you know, next deals came in, and where it's the kiss of death is I thought it would be that easy. Like, dude, have you ever mailed out 2,000 postcards and
Get nothing. Yeah.
you get even that amount? Well, you can get that amount of phone calls, but like do that many deals on 2,000 postcards? No.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes like 400,000 return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I took like, I think right away I started buying probate leads. I started buying this and started buying that. And I was like burying money for 3-4 months and not getting any deals. Like
This is 2018.
This is 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. So like 2018 at that point, like, but like, mind you, when I did that, going through cancer, my son, my goal at first was to spend time with my family.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to be a slave to work anymore. So like I said this when I first walked in, like I wanted to coach my kids baseball 4 months of the year, not work, not do anything but focus on my family, and then go work the other 8 months. And that was like the way originally. It wasn't designed to be a business. That mindset will never work. At least I shouldn't say it'll never work. It didn't work for me because I am somebody who wants to be more successful and wants to be more successful. And I don't mean monetarily, but you know, I thought I'd be happy with that. Super happy being home with my family more, but not just being mediocre, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that didn't last long. And so the pandemic actually was something like at that time was when it very first started, was a time where I was like trying to get back. I was mentoring a couple people on how to do this, just small time. And when the pandemic hit, I'm like, now I got to learn to delegate because we have the health issues, right, with my kid. I had health issues myself. I don't really anymore. And it was like I can't go out the houses. So the guy I was mentoring, I hadn't talked to him like 3-4 months. He called me to wish. It was 2-year anniversary of my son's last chemo treatment, and he remembered that day. And so he just sent me a message like, "Hey man, I know it's 2 years today. Congrats. I know it feels good," because his nephew, he's my employee now. His nephew has gone through similar stuff. And I was like, holy shit. So I called him, talked to him for a little bit. What are you doing? You still want to be in real estate? He's like, yeah, but I got my full-time job. I can't do it. And it was funny. The next day he got fired.
Wow.
Like out of nowhere. He'd been there for years. He was the head like chef in a kitchen. And he's been the best hire, who probably will be. I'll always keep him by my side.
That's some fake shit right there.
Yeah, dude, he's the kind, like, how many employees you get that'll call you and constantly ask you for criticism and constantly ask you, how do I get better? And constantly, like, he's just, you know, nothing gets past him. He's not scared to call, do anything. He just wants to improve and he wants to be busy. So it's like the perfect, you know. Like
Hard to find that.
Yeah, like we were talking about, like, how do you find that? I mean, I knew him for a little while and I didn't even know that about him. Is when we started working, I'm like, man, this guy's got worth ethic.
Yeah.
You know, I always relied on skill. You know, I wish I'm a hard worker, but not like him. And I'll be honest, I'm sure he'll listen to this, but that's like an absolute fantastic attribute to have. So that's sort of how we started building, and since then I've just been building and building. So you asked the question, how many deals? So 2018, I think I did like 17 deals. I didn't do much. I would average like 25,000 a deal. Okay. And 2019 was like 26 deals, still on my own. And average went down a little bit. I was about like 21.2, I think. And then 2020 is where we started.
It's not bad, dude.
It's not bad.
Pretty good, honestly, yeah.
You know, probably low overhead.
For by yourself? Yeah, what do you mean? That's great, yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, 2020 is where I started really building. And then even last year we did a little over 40 deals total. I'm not considering like any rentals we bought. I'm not considering.
Yeah, just wholesale, I understand.
Yeah, and it was like 2021 was a good year. I still felt short. Like, I hate to have monetary goals, but I did have, like, you know, I think as a kid you always have this goal. Like, I think the first goal is always like, let me make $100,000, you know, and it's like, let me make $500,000, and then, you know, it's like that progression. Like, let me get to here. I realize it doesn't fucking matter.
No, it doesn't. Like,
my goal now, you know, I see this guy, especially Brandon. I mean, even my other new employees, I see them, you know, they got family and they just want to be home a little bit more, but they also want to provide for their kids. So like, my goal is like to get them to a point where like their wives don't have to work. You know, they can start to build their own portfolios. Like, I want to get to a point where I can start lending them money to buy their own, and just, you know, I run it. I'm trying to run it like a business, but I run it like a family. Like, you got to be, you know, I got to want to have a drink with you. I'm not really a big drinker, but
I think the more they're intertwined, the better your business will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, what I'm learning too, it's like, you know, there's a difference of like people that you want to have a drink with versus people you just mesh well in business with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
two different things for sure.
Yeah. I mean, some people I work best that, you know, don't work for me are people that are nothing like me. You know what I mean? It's just that difference gives us a little bit more open-mindedness.
Yeah,
to really
attract, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you just listen better to people that aren't exactly the same. Otherwise, you find like you talk over your boys more than you do the stranger. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that answered your question.
Yeah.
I got a good question for you.
Yeah.
You brought it up earlier. You said you don't measure success by monetary value. How do you measure success?
You gotta like look back on where you were. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? You know, it's like, just because you make $1 million doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean that you're successful, because you can still be a piece of shit.
A lot of people are that rich, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, like for me, you know, I see how I've grown. I see like what my wife will say to me is like, you grow into somebody who just cares about other people more. And like, the more you build a business and you see how it affects your employees, the more, you know, not that I have this huge business, right? But you start to see what it can do to change their lives. So I'd say the success is like really a reflection of the people around you. You know, when you see them start to have a little bit more sense of purpose and just joy in their lives, then you know you're hitting success, like on all cylinders. You know, if you can see someone who's been working their ass off, who's like stressed because they can never be home with their kids, and now you've helped them to get to that point. Like, don't get me wrong, like all I did was kind of pave the road for, you know, my guy Brandon, and he fucking drives the car, and he drives it well. You know what I mean? But that's sort of like, to me, what success is, like how you can help the people around you as much as possible. And I think, like, I mean, dude, you know more people in real estate. Like, how many people are in real estate, have a successful business? You get to the next stage, like, let's say wholesalers. Like, every wholesaler starts off wholesaling. Yep. Then all of a sudden they're a flipper, and they still have the wholesaling. And then they're also buying rentals. Yep. And then what? And then a lot of them become coaching. They become coaches. And it's not because, like, I can charge you $10,000 for a coaching class. Mm-hmm. It's because they love seeing that they can impact someone else's life. You know, and that's how they like.
That's a great point.
Yeah, learn from the older guys. Learn from the guys that have done it. Like they get to a point where it's just giving back. It's just helping. Like the one guy I was talking about earlier, Dan Satofsky. He's a close friend, mentor, like coach of mine. Awesome dude, and all he does like all fucking day, all day. I'm like, how do you run a multi-million-dollar business and it doesn't even seem like you work? It seems all you do is like are helping other people. And he's like, but that's why I'm successful because all I do is help other people.
It's always gonna come like full when you help people out.
Yeah.
They will come back to you and help you out when
Yeah.
you least expect it, need it, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you're helping people out, dude, they will return it. Whether they're paying you for it or turn around and do a JV deal together, or they turn around and be like, yo, I got a really good referral for you. I can't handle it. Here's a sick account. You know, you'll make your money back. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't look at
This game is huge. Sales in general, yeah, it's all about connections, networking, all that stuff. But real estate, I've never seen more people that actually help each other out and be beneficial to each other. It's kind of crazy, yeah. More than any other market I've seen, personally at least.
Yeah.
There's a book that I just recently read. The CEO, I think it's CEO does 3 things.
Yeah.
Basically, and one of the things is people, like focusing on people and helping them achieve their goals.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I spend my day with our guys. It's like I'm not in the trenches with them, but I'm trying to coach them and like you said, pave the way, inspire them, give them the right advice. So that's definitely there's a bigger return than me going out and closing 10 deals myself, rather than letting them fall on their face, learn, because eventually they won't need me. You know? And that's how you scale a business.
Yeah.
So I definitely think if you have that giver mentality from the door, that's how you're going to become a successful entrepreneur. So anyone that comes through his organization, like we provide so much value to them that they're like, wow, man, like you guys promised us, let's say it's $5,000 a month, we're giving you $6,000 now. Like we're really trying to just like over deliver and under promise a lot of times. So I think that's really the key to scaling a good business, honestly.
Dude, it's funny because I like a couple of years ago, when I started my growth, I would like reach out to people like, what's a good book? Who's a good coach? Who's this, that? And, I think in your lives, like people can give you 30 answers and you just pick the one that you think makes most sense, but revisit those posts, right? So I did that a couple months ago and I was like, who the fuck, the Gogiver, right? You ever read that book?
Yeah.
That book is fucking, that book is awesome.
It's a little fable.
Yeah.
It's like 100 pages,
Yeah, I got it.
It's like an old story, right? It's like hundreds of years.
That's not that old.
No, I thought that was like
it's like a sales guy that.
Yeah.
I think it's something else. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean, but it's like one of the things he talks about in there. He's like, I think he talked about like the guy at a restaurant, and he's like, just be the restaurant that provides the best food. Don't worry about the price of the food or anything like that. Just give the best food, best everything. It's like, and then things will return and
people will come back. Yeah.
Yeah, and they talk about the guy that like he's the most successful entrepreneur or real estate entrepreneur or restaurant entrepreneur in like New York City, and he's like that guy. He's like, yeah, he sells hot dogs on the side of the street. He just sells a badass hot dog. You know what I mean? And there's consistency, and he's just looking to make sure people on the street are eating, and he'll give it to you for free, and he'll, it's like that book. It was funny because when I was like talking to Dan. Dan helped me out with something recently. It was like a big help, like, and I like was reading this book, and I'm like, makes sense, dude. And I sent it to him. I gotta send him the book, but I sent him a video. I was like, dude, I just read the Gogiver. If you never read it, it totally makes sense why you're so successful. You know what I mean? So. It's a good lesson. Like it's something, if I could go back and talk to myself in the past, even before real estate, like I would say stop worrying about your bank account, stop worrying about your, this and that. Just worry about how you can help people. It really just like transpires. You take that weight off of like what money really means. Because money doesn't mean shit. Money's like just a transfer of time. Yep. I think that's how like Kiyosaki talks about it. And it's like you stop giving a shit. Like like it's funny because I'll go to the grocery store and like people are like, oh, you donate money towards this charity, and like next time you're in the grocery store and someone says that, just say, yeah, how much? And they'll just stare at you like, what do you mean? It's like, how much? And whatever they say, just give it to them. Seriously, just give it to them. Yeah. Kid did that to me at baseball last year. He was like $1,000. I'm like, cool. And I gave him $1,000 for some raffle to send their kids to like, I forget, some baseball tournament somewhere. They're like, why the fuck would you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. Like, I care about money. I'm not stupid, right?
Yeah,
but like...
Well, I'm about to get a kid to go up to you and tell you.
Yeah, I'm going to ask his name. Like, what's your dad's name?
I don't have a kid, but you'll never know.
Yeah.
You'll never see it coming. At least
you're going to pay some kid, right?
I'm going to get your money and then buy your house with it is my bill.
Yeah, all right.
You're like, what the hell just happened?
All right. Now I can't do that anymore.
Caution.
Yeah. Actually, Jim Quick said it recently. He's like, do you realize when you open up that phone and you look at your email or you look at your Twitter or you look at your Facebook, all you're doing is starting your day with somebody else's agenda, not yours. So you're not intentional.
That's true, yeah.
Right? You're not saying this is what I want from life today. You're saying what are these people going to tell me I should be doing today?
Yeah.
And that's why, like, as much as I agree with the Twitter thing, that cool, do it, but wait half hour. Let your brain state get to another state of mind, and then work with the knowledge that it can give you, and it just like those little like things compound into just like even more success. You know what I mean?
Very
Like first time I met you, you seem like a very motivated, happy dude. You'll be successful, I'm sure, in anything you want to do. But those little things will compound to like either getting there faster or just being more successful, or like more importantly, being more happy.
Yeah.
Which you're already pretty happy.
Honestly,
That's definitely my
what it
work in
does,
progress right
it
now.
builds up discipline. You know, that's really key. It's like
True.
you have consistency. You lowers your anxiety. It gives you more clarity. Like when you start being consistent, you know what to expect.
Right.
You know, your luck changes. Right. More opportunities start coming by accident. You know, you start elevating yourself without even knowing it. Next thing you know, you have talent everywhere around you. Right.
Yeah.
So I agree. Like you have to get up. If you want to be a CEO, a successful one, you have to have intention with the day. You have to put the right content in front of you.
Yeah.
If someone's telling you otherwise, they probably don't have the experience or been to your seat where you've been.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with some of the advice you get out there. But I agree. It's just proven like you gotta have you gotta control your day. You can't let someone else's agenda pull you around.
Yeah.
So.
And you got to use that time. Like I'm pretty sure every like CEO or entrepreneur has. The morning is the stressful time because that's when like the intrusive thoughts hit your mind like first thing in the morning. Like when you're worried about a deal, you're worried about getting this out, doing this. It's like for me, it's like as soon as I wake up, that's when the doubt is there most. And
Well, it depends what time you wake up.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, normally I started waking up later. I was like a 5 a.m.er for years. And I started just because I wouldn't go to bed on time. Like I wouldn't go to bed. I'd be asleep 3-4 hours. But what I always notice is like when you have the most doubt is the moment I wake up. And so like if I grab my phone and look at Facebook, I'm not actually facing that feeling, which you have to do. You have to, you have to like,
Putting off.
yeah, like you got to realize what's like an intrusive thought process or what's like an intrinsic thought process.
That's deep. I never thought about it. I wonder if people actually do that just to get away from what the day is about to present them.
It's the only reason you look at Facebook and Twitter.
No, I wouldn't say the only, but I get what you're getting at.
You don't need the information.
I'm a believer though. You have to give yourself.
That's my opinion.
You have to give yourself 2 hours in the morning. For me personally, doesn't have to be for everyone, but of alone time.
Yeah.
If I wake up at 8 o'clock, I'm playing defense. I have Jesse. Jesse has emails going out. We got people's calls. Like the whole business, the KPIs start coming out. My anxiety level goes up. Right. I have to hurry and spend time with my child. It's like impossible to get ahead. If I wake up a little bit earlier, like 5 a.m., like work out, I get to think. Like you said, I get to read a book.
Yeah.
Get to have that breakfast or whatever it is. Take my dog for a walk. Just like enjoy my day. So to me, it's just like you can't play defense.
Yeah.
You don't want to wake up playing defense. That's really it.
Yeah.
You want to be on the offense.
Yeah.
You want to get better. You want to educate. You want to come in and, especially as a leader, you want to be ready for the day. They can tell when you're coming out of just waking up out of bed. And,
defense.
I'm like in a bad mood. It's like,
So I'm the opposite though. I don't want to wake up and play defense, but I wake up at like 8:30 because I like to sleep in. I do things differently, man. I'm a big proponent of like.
But we're disorganized though, so that
to a certain degree, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like organized chaos, but it works. Dude, everyone can do it their own way. I'm a big proponent of his way. Definitely works.
Your way,
guess what? My way works for me too.
It'll work
Have
to
you
a
ever-
certain level though. If you want to break through, you're gonna have to be disciplined.
Have you ever considered it like it works to make you? And I'm not saying you're mediocre because I don't know you, but you ever consider that it's just keeping you as a mediocre person that you have that mentality?
No, I'm way better.
He's a big time sale like in it. Like,
and I'm not saying I don't know you,
No,
so
you
I'm
don't,
not
no.
saying that you are. So
No,
just
I'm proof that
take
you
it.
don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. and do it.
I know me and Santini.
Yeah.
Me and Santini are sitting there going, man, what potential you would have if you listen to what someone who's super successful is telling you to do.
Yeah.
Because like, dude, I've learned I'm way more stubborn than you will ever be.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me. Like, ask my wife. And I fought this thing that we're saying to you for years. I can't tell you how many times people are like, dude, why are you waking up at like 8? Get the fuck up.
Yeah.
Get up. Even when I worked at Power, like I didn't have to start work till 10 o'clock. They'd be like, yeah, so what? Get up at 5, go to the gym, do this, do that. And I'd be like, I remember this dude, Bill Hurf, who was just like, he played college football. He was like this jack dude. And we would show up to like a meeting in Philly somewhere at like 7:30. And I'm like, oh, this sucks. And he'd be like, really? I've already done like 2 workouts. Like, You look at most successful people in the world. Ask every one of them.
Yeah.
There's nobody. So like, if the success leaves clues, like, is your story just your story, or do you think really there's that breakthrough moment when you finally grab what he's saying?
I believe in everything he says. I can just do it differently and get the same results. It's as simple as that. There's no right answer to
Well,
doing
then
it.
here it goes back to.
There are clues and breadcrumbs that show that does work, but it doesn't mean that I can't do it my own way. And make it work.
You can.
I'm not being stuck.
Well, I'm a big component of like doing
Yeah.
your own way. Don't get me wrong.
Guess what? Because if I started waking up at 5 a.m., doesn't matter how much of a routine I get on, I'll be miserable, and I'm not gonna do stuff that affects my happiness.
You know,
My happiness is just
He doesn't have kids.
important.
He doesn't have kids yet.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, wait
Things
till
might
you
have
have
to
kids.
change. You're right, but my point
You're,
of getting at is
you know,
that
you are right, because that's how before I had kids, that's exactly, dude, how I was. So
Yeah.
I'm not. And again, dude, don't take it that
guess
I'm
when
like.
I come alive though is the nighttime. I can't change it. I've been wired that way since I was young, and I used to go to bed earlier.
But
I used to
remember,
wake
you're
up
not in
earlier.
alpha state.
Yeah,
There's
I'm not in
science
alpha
behind
state.
it.
Yeah,
Your probability.
whatever
of
the fuck that means.
is
Yeah. Your guys are in beta state. I'm in alpha state at all times. I'm not worried about it. I'm always locked in. But no, I get what you're saying. I agree. But I just want people to realize you can do it your own way.
Yeah.
It's all about what you do in the hours you're up, man.
Listen, Ray
Really
Dalio
is.
said the most successful hedge fund manager ever.
Yeah.
Be radically open-minded. Be
Oh,
open-minded towards guys like Steve.
That's
and
definitely
myself.
what I am, though. I don't shut anyone down. I'm open-minded in everything.
Because no one's gonna take that advice and be successful.
I'm just an outlier, so you can't really go off me, dude. I'm a fucking weirdo. But it shows that you can be a weirdo and still be successful, man.
You're gonna work 10 times harder than someone like me, with your habits. I work way less hard. I don't work as hard as you.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to earn every penny going forward. You know what I mean? Like I have residual, like people residually putting work in, money's residually coming in. It's because of those habits.
Yeah.
It's the foundation.
I mean, I don't know. If I had $0 in my bank account, I wouldn't be worried because
If you disappeared, no money
my
comes
contact
in.
list will make me money.
I'm saying is like if you
This is my referral, right? This is my security.
I'm getting like nostalgia because I'm and honestly, like, I align with your thought process.
This is my savings account right here.
More than you would imagine. It's just like going through things in life, and I don't know what you've gone through in life. Like, you know, it's none of my business. But like, once you go through other situations in life, it does like make it harder to do things that way. So like the way you work now might work, but like life will be different. Like life changes always, and you have to just at some point in your life remember that we have this conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
and then
adapt.
challenge yourself. Yeah. Challenge yourself to say, you know what, maybe because dude, I remember it was actually when I worked with George Beatty. I was like, man, what book should I read? He was like Miracle Morning. Okay. And that's an incredible book. If you want to really, you know, I'm not doing it justice at all by telling you why to wake up early. But
I wish I wasn't a person. It's not, trust me. I could be. It's not like that's an excuse, but I wish I was. But
when you read the book, you realize that's a story. That's
I like the nighttime better, man. That's when I come alive. My best idea is.
I was an audio engineer, man. I worked until 8-9 in the morning.
Right? Yeah.
Went to bed during the day, so I get it. So trust me, everything you're saying. It brings me back to conversations I've had with plenty of people.
Yeah.
It's just maybe it comes to some point in your life where you go, I need to start doing this. It is a benefit. You're working and successful and getting by because you're a smart, talented, good personality. You have friends, and so it works. Like you push. It's like having talent. But you know as well as I do, hard work will outwork talent all day long.
I think I work smarter than I work harder, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah.
You're a hustler, man. That's it. You hustle.
Yeah.
Like if you went down today, you wouldn't make any money. That's the reality. Like me and Steve, if we disappeared, we would still have money coming in, and that's what discipline does.
That part's true. Yeah.
Like we built generational wealth and systems and processes. You can't do that waking up at 8 a.m. because your whole team is up at 8 a.m. now, ready to go. So that's where we're trying to get to.
It's fun.
If you're going to be a CEO or you're going to be in the machine working, that's it. You want to be both.
It's funny because I like coach baseball, right?
Yeah.
And I'm on the board for my organization, and like most of the time when there's like a volunteer, I'm like, I'll go there. They're like, all the guys are like, do you fucking work? Like, do you? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm working right now. Like, I'll drive a gator and drag a field. I'm working for my phone. Let me send him an email about West.
You built your business around your lifestyle.
Right.
That's what you should do.
Yeah.
Your business has to be around your lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know?
And when you we talked earlier about what you want to do, and like I wish you the best success. If you ever need my help or anything I can ever do, my phone's always on.
Yeah. Likewise.
But when you're when you get to that point, like you might need to pick up these trades because when you're doing it on your own and building it from your own, you're gonna need those extra 2-3 hours in the morning. You're going to need it.
I agree with that.
You know.
That's one of my goals is to get him to do his own thing because we talked about this. End of the year, he's gonna be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly coaching him. I'm like, he pushes back a little bit because that's his mentality. And I'm
How
always
old,
challenging.
How old are you anyway?
28.
28.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but I challenge him.
He's
it's always for the best,
He's at the age though where like his brain waves will change.
He has so much success. It's like trying to tell like a 24-year-old like NBA player like who's dominating.
Right.
Like be humble, but like they're having so much success, you can't slow them down. Like,
right.
They're just keep the momentum, but you try to give them little nuggets and hopefully he'll catch on.
It's sad because the older I get, the more I look at people as a computer. Like it sounds weird, but the more I realize you just whatever inputs in comes out, and so just be mindful of the input. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be mindful of the information. Don't reject it. So,
no, I never am. I just like there's certain things you can't get me to do because I'm not wired that way, and I'm a firm believer of it. Once you figure out who you are, start to tailor your life around who you are. Yeah. So it's like I'm not a morning person, so why would I become one? I know what you guys are saying, but if I started my own business, I would just figure out a way to maybe wake up just an hour earlier, have my guys come in at 10, you know what I mean? I would just figure out a way to tailor it to the way that it would work out best for everyone involved.
Yeah.
I think there's always different solutions out there. Just because it was written in stone for hundreds of years doesn't mean I can't write my own stone and my own path and figure out a new way to get stuff done. Yeah. As long as the results are the same, who the fuck cares how you get there? You know what I mean?
And I respect that. Yeah. I do, 100%.
And maybe I'm fucking wrong and I'll crash and burn. let it be. I'll crash and burn. But
you
I don't think I will because I'm not cocky.
You won't.
But I'm so different that I see things from a different perspective than anyone else does. So I guess it's really hard to have like a true conversation with me about this stuff.
You won't crash.
You guys are more right than I am, but maybe I'm the guy that makes the next Facebook. You know what I mean? You guys probably aren't. No offense. You guys are wired differently. You'll be super successful, but are you going to make the next Facebook?
I want to know you.
That's $200 billion company.
If that's who you are, I want to know you.
You guys will be right there on the private plane as we're flying across the world doing stuff. So that's just the way I look at it because I'm so different. But this 27 to 28, brought up the brainwave thing. 27 to 28 was the biggest mind shift I've ever gotten. I'm more susceptible to hear advice and not be stubborn about it. Yeah. I had a switch in my happiness, in my emotional state, in my physical state. Yeah. I just figured out who I was. And for the first time ever in my life, I feel like I'm on my path. Yeah. I didn't feel that for years. You brought up the crying after you got fired from the job. Yeah. 2 years ago, end of 2020 was the most depressed I've ever been in my life. If I was didn't have depression in my family, I might have even thought about killing myself. That's how fucking down I was. And I had 2 people in my family trying to kill themselves. So depression's bad in my family. And I was down bad.
Same here.
I had $200,000 in my name. I had a great girlfriend. I had a sick house, a lot of friends. There was nothing wrong in my life. I just had no fucking purpose. And I hated every second of my fucking living. And I remember just crying my fucking eyes out and waking up one morning and just finally I called a therapist out of nowhere. It's I need help. And then I literally have been amazing since. I mean, it took a while to get,
Do you know what's cool? You know what's cool about that story is that you actually on your own called the therapist.
Woke up one morning in a fucking sweat and was I gotta call someone, dude. I'm going down such a bad path right now. It could have led to me hurting myself. You know what I mean? I would never do it because I'm the type of guy, if I lost everything, life's so beautiful. I don't give a fuck. I want to be 100. I'm one of those people when I'm 70, fucking kill me. I want to be 130, dude. I want to live forever. Yeah. I want to see a lot of shit, dude. So I'll never take my own life away, but that shit runs in my family, and it had me down super fucking bad. But it made me, I'm glad it happened because I hit my rock bottom, and I haven't gone anywhere near that since. You know what I mean? My whole entire mindset is just so much better. I'm just so happy. Even on my worst days, I'm happy. And
that's
it's
awesome,
such a great fucking feeling, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I struggled with depression back in the day. I haven't, those thoughts still creep in, but I recognize them. I don't indulge in them.
Figured out tactics to defeat my own self who is my biggest enemy.
The honest to God thing, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like every person out there has the exact same thoughts that made us feel we were depressed. The only difference is that we indulged and they were given tools to just recognize and then move on.
Yeah, I really realized that depression is real. Obviously, it's a sickness. Yeah. But most of it was just self-induced, dude. There was nothing going on for me to be that bad. You know what I mean? It was just beating myself up continuously, or just not taking the risk like I wanted, or taking the chance, or educating myself, or doing something to be positive. Go for a walk or a run. Try to outdo the stage you're feeling, and then you finally learn tactics to defeat that stuff, and it was
you learn tools.
It changed your life completely. Yeah, I work corporate jobs, dude. Same thing happened to you. I was on my 3rd corporate job. I came home one day and just was in the shower, just crying my eyes out, and I was like, I'm so fucking miserable. These jobs suck. I fucking hate corporate America. No offense to anyone that's doing great in there. It's obviously a great opportunity for a lot of people, but it's not how I'm built, and I was so fucking depressed, dude. I couldn't have felt more out of place in my life than that. Yeah, but I fit in. Well, dude, but I felt so out of place.
Well, and the thing you said that resonates a lot is you found a purpose, and that's what it is. So short answer, small spread was $63.
$63. I was gonna ask the smallest.
spread.
I think I lost money on the last deal. One of the deals last month.
No, really?
Yeah, there was a payoff that came up and we had to close.
Oh, that stupid one. Yeah. Damn, we
so we actually went negative on a wholesale deal.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to do it, man.
Yeah, we had to do right by the.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. All right. So biggest was 98, small was $63. That's hilarious. Yeah. You just wanted to make something on it, or did something happen at the last second that fucked everything up?
No, I wanted to help the guy.
Okay.
It's all. Cool. It was a house that should never have sold.
Longest
I was
deal?
like, I'll throw. It was a long deal.
No, what's your longest one you ever think that got revived? Like the longest time you
that one I just talked about.
That was that one.
Yeah.
So
I mean, longest as far as like follow up and everything like that. Actually, nah, you know what? It's not even true. I wholesale a deal when I was on my own when I first started. Wholesale deal in Swedesboro, and then the guy sold it back to me, like a couple months later. And
the old buyback
for less than what you got it for.
That dude scared the shit out of me, yo. He was his son got murdered, right? And he was into like the smiley face. I shouldn't even say it. Apparently it's like some big thing, but there was like this killing gang, the smiley. Like anytime you see a smiley face somewhere, that's their gang tag.
Okay.
And
so
like
MS-13 type of shit you're saying?
Yeah, yo. He was like, once I close on this, you're gonna see me all over the news. And I was like, huh? And I called him the day before settlement. I was like, I can't do this. He's like, why? And I was like, I don't want to be part of like what you're gonna do. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, are you gonna like kill people? He was like, no. I have a whole book that I'm putting out. That's why I'm gonna be on the news. I was like, oh, dude, you're the scariest.
How about say that? Yeah, what the fuck?
You're the scariest motherfucker I've ever talked to in my life. Don't do that. So.
How many deals you want Pace to do this year?
I'm hoping to do like 75.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah. You said what, 26 last year? Was that the year
no,
before?
no. Last year was a little over like 42.
Okay.
Last year.
That's cool. I'm just gonna double.
Average price went down a little bit, and we took a couple of smaller deals throughout the year.
What changed? It looks like you're gonna probably double your business almost.
Yeah.
What changed?
Just the focus. Like last year, like my focus at the beginning of the year was to learn marketing better. Because honestly, man, I like for a little while there, I was just pulling like 3 lists, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I never talked to people.
Could have called like George Beatty and said, "Hey, give me your secret sauce."
I feel like he's too busy. And that's probably the wrong thing because he probably would answer and probably would help me. I probably should just offer him money to teach me.
He has 100 employees. He's probably not that busy.
Yeah.
That's true. He's macro level.
He should have every layer of that.
Yeah, but he's a super type A. Like won't sit still.
Yeah.
Always got something going on.
He's probably in the metaverse or something.
Yeah, probably is.
Yeah.
Probably wholesale.
I guarantee he probably is.
Yeah, no, seriously, the way you say it, he's probably. When you have that many employees, you're not thinking about now, bro. You're thinking about the next 3 years because the now's already figured out.
Yeah, and he's a very like he's a kind of a visionary guy. Like he honestly he said that I'm like
He's definitely just selling fucking crypto in the metaverse.
He's got a mastermind in the metaverse right now. I think. Yeah.
What's your biggest marketing channel?
Biggest marketing is direct mail. Yeah, I do direct mail. I do like sequences. So I do like direct mail followed up with like an RVM, followed up with a text, followed up with another RVM, followed up by another email, and then just repeat that over like a 6-week period. And so everything just keeps going. I switch it up from time to time. Like email doesn't seem to get me much of a return, but it's like practically free.
Yeah. What's your response rate right now on direct mail?
Direct mail is about 0.5%. Yeah. It's gone. Well, to be honest with you, it's lower now. I think I'm at like 2.28.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Yeah,
we dropped it. Another half.
Yeah, it's honestly like my KPIs, my tracking. I have to get better at, and I've started to over the last like 6 months. But sometimes I'll look at it like the way I'm tracking is, hey, I put out 50,000 postcards. I got X amount of phone calls. But sometimes I'm not necessarily tracking, like, do they come from the RVM? Because it's the same lead, but I'm getting it, do they come in from RVM? So I have my guys tracking a little bit better.
Yeah.
And we use Podio. And so I can get a little bit better of a handle. Because, like, at some point, my guy was like, dude, I'm tired of RVMs because, like, we're not getting any calls. I'm like, really? Because we did, 17 deals last year just on the RVMs.
Yeah, we do it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Often.
Yeah.
What county do you do the most deals in?
Probably Gloucester County.
Yeah.
Gloucester. I for the longest time, well, because when my son was sick is when I started this. I started off I live in Camden County, so it was Camden, Burlington, and Gloucester. And I knew those areas the best.
Yeah, of course.
And, now we do Salem, Mercer. I did Ocean County, Atlantic County for a little bit.
Do anything outside of Jersey or just strictly Jersey right now?
Not yet, but I want to.
Where do you want to go?
I want to get back into the Philly market. I know it's like sort of a shit show over there, but the way I do business too, like when they pass their law, like the disclosure, like I do that anyway. I mean, I don't have a seller sign a piece of paper that says, hey, I'm making 25,000 off you. But my guys are taught to be fully transparent. Like, you know, we might wholesale this, we might assign it to somebody else. We make sure they're okay with that, because I just believe, like, squash the problem before it comes up. Where, you know, and I don't really know how you guys do business at all. Like, I know wholesalers out there that's just like this secret on how they do stuff, and if they get caught at the closing table,
well, it's usually like, hey, we're buying
let's
this.
get in a fight, and then
they're like, who the fuck's Fred Jones? I thought you were buying it. And you're like, oh, you know, it's right.
We buy a lot of our own deals,
Yeah.
so I tell them, listen, you know, just let them know we have like 3 or 4 exit strategies.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, wholesale is one of them.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I do, and I tell them during the walkthrough. I mean, we do. I mean, I know people do it differently. Like, we do walkthrough before we negotiate anything. We don't put it under contract or anything like that, and then walk through. It's just the way I like to do it. I feel like you can build more credibility and value that way. But it's just, I also recognize it's just because it's the way I believe it works, so it works.
Yeah.
You know.
How many rentals do you own?
I have 3 right now. That's it. So that's another part of, like, you know, this year's growth is.
Time to check that up, buddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're heading towards a ready market. You need to get on the other side of that.
Well, it's funny. Like, my buddy, my mentor Dan, he's got 700, or he's got a little under 700 rentals. He's like, we got to get you up. Like, this guy just takes care of me. He's an awesome dude. He's a great friend, great mentor, and he's like, we're gonna get that up. So I'm like, I've wanted to, man, but I've fallen to the pitfalls of, like, getting distracted by doing this. Like, hey, I'll flip this house. Like, not in the last 2 years, but like, hey, I'll flip this house myself, and I'll go fucking paint it myself. Like, the stupidest decision I ever made. You know. But yeah, that's like, I never thought about buying my deals until late last year. So it was really in the last 3 months last year I bought 3 rentals, and then so I'm starting to look at a couple more. I have a couple more. I don't want those Salem deals, so I'm not going to keep them.
Are you doing any creative finance?
Like subject to or anything like that?
Subject to seller finance.
Nothing.
How about wholesaling?
I've done a couple. I've done a couple wholesale, a couple double closings, over my career. I primarily do by assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's the easiest way. It's less risk.
Yeah.
You know.
Dude, it's like what I recognize what I'm accountable for in my business is like I need to learn more creative financing strategies, because I'm sure there's things in my pipeline that we probably could make I have a deal right now. Actually, I was talking to my acquisition guy this morning. I'm like, how am I going to make this happen? Like, we don't novate it. Yeah, someone's got to explain to me. I was that's where I saw Jim. I was watching the Novation class the other day.
Yeah. We'll do a little seminar for you. One day. Come back. We'll definitely show you.
Just $5,000 is cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely boosted our deal flow for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Creative finance.
You might end up getting to 100 deals if you put Novation in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the end goal, is to get to at least 100 a year, and that's like this year's goal for growth is to get up there. Like, I know I said it at 75, but it was really to push myself, but to still be realistic. But you know, with a couple extra tools under my belt, I think 200 is possible, right? And it will be. But I got systems like, it's funny, I started reading the E-Myth again. I don't know what led me to start running to read it, and I'm like, man, this fucking book makes so much more sense. Yeah. So if you remember, there's like the 3 stages of business.
I haven't read the E-Myth yet.
Oh, dude, it's fascinating, because there's like 3 stages of business, and I forget the third because I'm not at that chapter again. But the second stage is like where I'm at now, where I'm still like the technician who's stretching himself thin, because I got to realize I can't be the technician anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, so it's funny how how life leads you back to the things you need. You know what I mean? And I literally went on something for my wife 2 weeks ago. I was like, I'm just gonna bring the email. I haven't read it in like 3 years. And I'm reading it going, holy fuck, this is exactly what I needed. So that's the stage of my business, is getting myself out of there so I can grow and get to that 100 and learn more creative financing, start focusing on my rentals, and I need to get a way bigger portfolio.
You'll get there, man.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be there soon enough.
Wake up an hour earlier, maybe. I don't know. Try something different.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good because I'm naturally talented. And like
everyone does differently, right? Yeah. Maybe go to bed an hour later. I don't know.
It makes up being rentals if you go to sleep later.
Yeah. Maybe you'll find some more deals later at night. You never know.
I gotta stop going to bed at midnight.
Oh man.
Yeah, don't go to bed at midnight and wake up at 5. That's what I did for like 3 years. Went to bed at midnight and woke up at 5. So.
Yeah. Even Elon sleeps 6 hours, man. That's Elon. So like, you gotta have. You're not productive without sleep.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, like Miracle Morning, they say like it's actually not proven. In Miracle Morning, they say it's not proven that you need 8 hours of sleep, and And then Jim Quick goes, that's actually not true. You need like 7 to 9 hours.
That's like the optimal.
Yeah, like you
that's
need
when
it
you're
or else
fully
your
functioning.
brain function goes down.
Yep.
Waking up early is for what, Santini said is like, you need that, especially with kids, man, especially with running a business. You need that time where nobody's emailing you, nobody's calling you, nobody's calling you. Yeah, you fully can be in the now and like focus on what needs to be focused on. Otherwise, like you're just starting in chaos and you get overwhelmed. Like for me, I'll start yelling at my kids and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Why am I yelling at my kids right now?
It's just a different version.
Yeah, you're on the defense, like you said. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, where can people find you? Plug yourself in.
I'm right here. What is this? 3 South. No, I'm.
Don't give away our address.
Yeah.
We got some bad reviews out there.
Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook. You can find me just under Stephen Cooper with a PH. You can. I'm pretty much an open book as long as I'm free. As long as I think you're not wasting my time, you can email me. You can email me at skywardinvestments.com.
Skyward.
Yeah, SKYWARD investments.com. You could even do. You can call me. Like honestly, like I might not answer, but I normally try to get back to you.
Yep. If your kid plays baseball and is doing a charity, make sure you find Steven. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, if you're in youth sports, and you want any information or anything you want to do charity wise, like please hit me up because I'd like to be involved in those things. Especially like obviously if it's cancer related, like hit me up. Dude, find me on Facebook. Email me. You can find my phone number on my website. I think I'm pretty much an open book.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it, bro. Thanks a lot.
Nah, this is a fun time. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you.